Okay, and welcome back, everybody. This is the First Inning Radio Show, live on television, radio, and television.com. And I am the BX Bomber 2011, along with Roger, the big Yankee fan. Say hello, Roger.
Hello, BX Bomber. Things are going pretty good. Well, not so good. I'm having a little difficulties with my back, but I'll get through it. But it's good to talk to you.
Oh man, sorry to hear that. Man.
Yeah, it's good to talk to you.
Absolutely.
And of course, the Yankees pitchers and catchers reported today, and they reported down the spring training, and I've got a little bit of information about some things that are going on.
That's right. Today is the first day of spring training. Actually, the Yankees reported a day early. Actually, the pitchers and catchers was supposed to report tomorrow on Thursday, on Valentine's Day, but they decided to show up today before. And the players, the infield players and everybody else will join the team on Friday, the day after Valentine's Day. So
exactly.
Hopefully everything goes smoothly in spring training.
Yes, and many of the players have arrived early. I saw some new video of Aaron Judge taking batting practice and Luke Boyd taking batting practice. So a lot of the players are already in camp, and they're already getting things going. Baseball is getting started again, and I think their first workout will be on Monday. But they reported today, and the latest in the ongoing Manny Machado saga is that his camp, Manny Machado's camp, is now talking to Machado about possibly doing a short-term deal with the Yankees of about 5 years, and that his camp is discussing that with Machado. And Machado grew up a Yankees fan, and the Chicago White Sox have had an offer on the table somewhere between 175 and 250 million, but many of the odds makers and bettors are believing that the Yankees still have the inside track on him, even though they've been playing so coy.
Yeah, that's true, man. No, but Manny Machado will be a perfect fit at shortstop, and then we're gonna have to lose Didi then, right?
Yeah. It's a case of I don't know. I really don't know what their plans would be. I love Didi Gregorius, and Didi Gregorius plans to be back later on in the summer. He's going to be out for a while, and I love Andujar too. But
Miguel Andujar, in the press conference today with the manager Aaron Boone, he explained that Andujar is going to be the starting third baseman already. He's already explained that. So he's already got his job. So all he has to do is get better at it. You know?
Right, exactly. And we have news about Jacoby Ellsbury, and he's starting out the way he's been lately. Holy cow. He won't be reporting to spring training for at least another month. Now he's having problems with plantar fasciitis, the foot problem. Plantar fasciitis, and that has slowed him down, and he won't even be reporting to spring training for at least another month as it stands right now. So he missed all of last year, and he missed 72 games combined between 2017 and 2015. So he is just nonstop injuries, and many people feel that he doesn't really even have a place in the outfield. I know you're rooting for him and everything, but he's gotten off to a bad start already. I mean, the pitchers and catchers just reported, and he's not even reporting to spring training because of plantar fasciitis now at this point.
Well, you gotta, that's may or may not be true. I don't really believe what the Yankees say or what they claim to say, because in the long run, what they're probably doing is they're probably telling us that, and they're working out probably a trade deal with somebody right now, and they don't want to actually bring Ellsbury into camp right now to give the Yankees a hassle with all the news media and all the questions he was going to have to answer to all these problems. So they're probably holding him at home right now. They're giving us this excuse that he has whatever he has, okay? Because they don't want to bring him to camp because they're working on trying to get rid of him. And that's probably what's going on right now.
Yeah,
You know?
so they're disappearing him, basically. They're basically trying to disappear him and keep him under wraps, and they're using different types of excuses because, you know, he was gone all last year.
Well, he could have came back last year. He could have came back last year, but they didn't because they wanted to bring up Luke Voigt and all these other people up.
Right,
you know?
right.
So they didn't have room for him to come to come up. You know?
Yeah.
And then when Aaron Judge got hurt, forget about it. They needed all kind of people to show up. You know?
Right.
And they kept him home because they knew he wasn't gonna be able to be at MLB ready. You know?
Right.
And it will be better off to get a mediocre player than have him come back and play on the team and just be worse. You understand?
Yeah, so they're purposely making him scarce, and they basically don't want him around, is what you're saying.
Yeah, for now, until they figure out what they're gonna do with him. You know,
right.
On how they can dump him off somewhere.
I see what you're saying. And also, some news is that the Yankees may be working on discussing a contract extension with Luis Severino. And Aaron Nola of the Philadelphia Phillies, who is a young pitching stud for the Philadelphia Phillies, just recently signed a contract extension. And Severino's camp and the Yankees may be looking for a contract similar to what Nola got with the Phillies. And they may be looking to lock up Severino, who will be 25 this year. So they're talking about possibly having a contract extension for Severino.
Wow, man! Because well, Severino will be worth it because he's only gonna get better. He looks like the type of player. He'll get better with age, and turn into a veteran pitcher.
Yeah.
And plus he has these guys behind him, gonna help him, give him the veteran mentality with AJ Happ and Paxton.
Exactly.
So they're gonna really try to give him. They're gonna, and he had CeCe there, but CeCe can't do it by himself. And CeCe's gonna have a press conference on the first day of players reporting, and he's gonna talk about how he's gonna try to win and have a great season. He's gonna talk about he's gonna have a retirement interview at the ending of the year. So that's when he'll talk about retirement and claim that he's gonna retire at the end of the year. But this one coming up is gonna be about trying to win the World Series. Actually, motivational speech.
Right, he's going to miss the first 5 games of the season because of the suspension. Remember, after he threw at Segura, after he threw at the batter because mine got thrown at, and then Sabathia threw at the batter to defend Romine. He got a 5-game suspension that he's going to have to serve at the beginning of the season. And then he should be ready to go for the 6th game of the season. And he may be a little bit behind on his training coming into spring training because he has the stint in his heart now. He now has the stint in his heart. And he may need to get in. It may take him a little bit longer to get into shape.
I actually doubt that because he's in the best training facilities down there in Tampa. They have the best training facilities. That CeCe is gonna be in the most best shape of his life when he comes back to the Yankees.
Wow, that's very good positive thinking.
I'm telling you, that's the way it is. That's how the Yankees work. The Yankees send you to Tampa, and you go on vacation down there, and they know how to make you 110%, and you come back a really big major leaguer. That's the way the Yankees work.
Yeah, sounds good.
And you saw it with Jeter. We saw it with Jeter when they did the 3000 documentary on HBO. He had to go to Tampa, and you see the things on how their regiments and how they're training, and They're gonna get you major league ready, you know, because they have major league ball players down there to give you that type of speed already, you know. So so when you get back to the MLB, you'll be up to speed on the speed that they're throwing, 95 miles an hour. You know what I mean? So you'll be able to come back and hit that ball.
Right, exactly. So that's good. I'm glad that you have a positive report, because I was reading some things where they thought it might take him a little bit longer to get into shape because of the heart surgery and the stents that he has in his heart now that he made, that he's recovering, and that it might take him a little bit longer to get into game shape. But I'm glad that you told me. I have confidence in the Yankees too. I mean, they have the best training facility.
Of course, and not only that, CeCe's been training already. He's been training since January. He's been training with Dolamal, the reggaeton singer. That's his training partner. Yeah, man, he's been already working now, so he's gonna be 110%. And with that 5-game suspension, that's only helping him prolong his career.
Right.
You know, because that's gonna give him a little bit more better starts when he gets there. He ain't gonna be drained out by the end. You understand?
Exactly.
You're holding the energy there a little bit, and then we're gonna bring it out, and then he's gonna leave it all there on the field, man. He's gonna give him everything we got, man, and CeCe's gonna come through. You'll see. I mean, the Yankees gonna have to hit, and when CeCe plays, you already have to have the mentality that we're already losing 2 runs already. You know what I mean? Even though it's 0-0, we have to come in with the game mentality saying we already losing. We got to score more runs. That's it, and they got to hit. You know?
Yeah, they will have to put up some runs for him. I think he's going to be very good, but they'll need to have a few runs for him. But I think he'll be a warrior and be a very good quality number 5 starter for the Yankees this year.
Yeah, man, absolutely, man. He's gonna give it all that he's got, man, and so is Paxton. He said he's gonna give everything he got too. So if they're gonna go out with that type of mentality, and already Tanaka, he already says it. He gives it everything he got. You know?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
So if they're gonna go out with that mentality, they're all gonna pitch great games this year. Hopefully they don't get blasted by a few other teams like the Astros in Boston when they come into town. So other than that, we'll be fine. And let's see what happens if where Machado goes.
Right.
And who knows?
The whole thing.
And who knows? They might be having this controversy with Jacoby Ellsbury to making a pitch for Bryce Harper to come to the New York. We don't know.
Right, that's the whole thing. This is just all speculation.
Exactly, we don't know. The only one that knows is the man with the cash.
Exactly,
and that's the cash man. You know what I'm saying? So that's it.
Exactly.
So we'll see what happens.
And I have a little uniform information. The teams will be wearing MLB 150 jersey patches this year. And the patch will say MLB 150. And earlier this week, MLB announced all 30 teams will wear an MLB 150 patch on their sleeve this season to celebrate the 1869 Cincinnati Red Stockings, the first ever professional baseball team. They were the first team with an entire roster of salaried players. Teams will also wear the patch on the side of their caps on opening day. The patches are pretty snazzy too. I see them right here.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen them yet.
Yeah, they're pretty snazzy. They just have the bold lettering of MLB in black and 150 in red, and they'll be wearing them on their sleeves, on their right sleeves. So they'll be wearing those this year. So that's pretty interesting uniform information, and that'll be pretty cool. And but yes, that's the whole thing now. The pitchers and catchers have reported, and we're definitely looking forward to some baseball.
And the Yankees did work out today, man. They were throwing the ball around and stuff like that, and they had all the interviews and everything. And so far, man, the way it's looking and the way teams are gonna whatever. Matter of fact, scratch that. as I was watching players enter spring training, right? What happened to all the fancy cars and everything? Ain't nobody driving fancy cars to the spring training no more. You remember that?
I guess not.
You remember that when the player used to come with the pimped out Porsche or whatever, and the rims and everything, and what happened to that? All these guys are coming in and buy Ubers now and all that.
Maybe they're just staying low key now. That's the whole situation now, is to stay a little bit low key and don't flaunt a lot of wealth around anymore.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what they're doing now, is not flaunting a lot of wealth around anymore and just trying to be a little bit more low key and down with the people a little bit more. I know Reggie Jackson had like a fleet, a collection of cars back in the 70s, Reggie Jackson.
Yeah.
And Reggie would show up with the Rolls Royce, you know, and that kind of thing. But I think the players are being a little bit more low-key now. And it's a younger team as well, too. And I think that they want to, you know, just be more in tune with the fans and try to be more likable.
Well, a lot of these guys, especially the ones in spring training, I don't think you're gonna see that anymore because those players don't live in those areas no more. You know, back in the day, in the old days, 20 years ago, all the players, they lived in Florida. You know, so they would drive their cars to the stadium or whatever. You know, but nowadays players don't live in Florida anymore. They live in other places, especially mostly they live in the West Coast. You know, where it's warmer. You know, where it's warmer, or they live in their country, Dominican Republic or Puerto Rico. You know,
right? Exactly.
So when they come, if they're a player of New York, they only rent a hotel room or something here or a house. You know, so they're not gonna have a car and stuff like that. They're gonna take a cab everywhere they go. You know,
they probably rent condos near the facilities. You know,
yeah, they do. Train wise, you know who you can catch on the train, on the 4 train going home after the game or before the game. Aaron Warren, he rides the subway. Yeah, he rides the subway. So if you have a good eye for him, you can catch him on the subway before the games. But they usually.
The Yankees are talking about possibly reuniting with him. You know, they traded him, as you know.
I know, but he was the only one that would ride the train.
Wow, that's cool.
The last Yankee to ride the train. Let me explain that. The last one to do that. So, I don't know who's going to do it this year, but he was doing that. Maybe bullpen players could do that. They're not recognized as well, but...
Judge did it once. He was doing it for a story though, and they had the cameras there and everything. But they showed Aaron Judge on the train coming up to Yankee Stadium. So Aaron Judge has done it once, and but I don't know if he does it on a regular routine. But that's how I get up to Yankee Stadium myself. As you know, I come in by bus and take the subways up to the Bronx and get in, and that is the best way to go, really. It really is the best way to go. And it's much easier and cheaper than trying to pay the parking and dealing with the traffic and everything. You just come right in on the subway. It's a little bit crowded coming out, but I definitely feel the best way to go up to Yankee Stadium is by public transportation.
Yeah, man. This guy, Syndergaard, Noah Syndergaard, when he first became with the Mets, that first year, they did a thing on him on I forgot which, it was SNY Sports. They did a little documentary with him, right? And they rode the train with him to Citi Field, right? And he had his jersey on with his name on the back, the Mets hat, the whole thing, right? Just wearing jeans and thing, but he had his jersey on with the hat on, and ain't nobody pay him no mind. You know that?
Wow.
Ain't nobody pay him no mind. And that was Noah Syndergaard, and that's how New York is, man. Ain't nobody care. You know?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
There's
of course, they him with that hair and everything.
Yeah, there was a Puff Daddy, right? He did an Instagram post back in like October, and he was with his son, right? Down in the West Village, right? In New York City, right? And this guy has a suit on with a mink jacket on, him and his son, and people are walking by and bumping into him, just bumping him. They don't even care who he is. And it's Puff Daddy. That's New York. Nobody cares, you know.
Yeah, they're very dated. They're very dated. We've seen it all here.
Yeah.
So you know, don't get too big ahead or whatever. You're just one of the people here.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Nobody cares who you are, man. Just go about your business.
Exactly. And that's how it all works out there. And so that is the beginning of spring training. Now the pitchers and catchers have reported today. There is the Yankees and Severino may be working on a contract extension. They have an excuse for Ellsbury not to be around. The Yankees in Major League Baseball will be wearing an MLB 150 patch on their uniform. And we got some good coverage here.
You know what's funny, right? It could turn into we could get this video could be flagged because talking about Jacoby Ellsbury is like a conspiracy theory.
Oh yeah, exactly. As I said last year, he's in the witness protection program.
I'm telling you, talking about him is like talking about UFOs and stuff.
Exactly.
Man,
but everything is looking pretty good though, and I'm glad that the pitchers and catchers have reported, and it'll be just a couple of weeks, and I'll be up to see you, and we'll be meeting up on March 6th, and we'll do a blog and have a good meeting and get our tickets.
Man, but I'll tell you one thing, man. The Yankees should have picked up. Well, we're gonna need a catcher sooner or later, a newer catcher, man. And you know, just to spotlight real quick, JT Realmuto, he signed with the Philadelphia Phillies, you know, and and if you look at his offensive, right, his wins above replacement, and it's above 4, you know, the higher the number, the better you are, and it's above 4, so he's above Gary Sanchez. But he's 27 years old. Gary Sanchez is 24 years old. But he only hit 21 home runs and Sanchez hit 33 home runs. You see?
Right.
But their batting average was about the same because JT was 277 and Gary Sanchez was 278. Right?
Right.
But Sanchez got hurt for most of the season last year.
Yeah.
So Gary Sanchez, by default, is a better catcher than he is, because if he would have kept playing, he would have had more home runs. He would have had 40 maybe, or 40 up to 45 home runs. Sanchez, you know.
Oh yes, I believe Sanchez has a lot of potential. He was injured last year and had a rough season. He still hit 18 homers last year, but he had a very rough season with injuries. But I believe, you know, he has a lot of potential, and he has great power. And, of course, remember they were calling him the Sanchez when he first came up.
Yeah.
And he hit all those home runs when he first came up. And I think I'm looking for him to have a very strong bounce back year.
Yeah, I just hope his arm could work out for him, you know, and could carry that ball, you know, because he has surgery on the arm that holds the glove, the arm that he catches with, and that's very tough. That's the most tiring part of catching, is holding the glove up. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Besides the squatting, it's holding the glove up, because that glove is so heavy. You know what I mean? So.
And then the baseballs are coming in at 90 and 100 miles per hour.
And you're almost breaking your wrist to catch these things too. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of things going on with that hand and that arm, you know? So you know, catching the ball is one thing too, you know, because you have to have a good eye for it so you can grab it with your throwing hand to throw it to second. You know?
Yes.
Because if your catching hand is lazy, you know, you're gonna get a lot of tips off the glove type of thing, you know? You're gonna look lazy type of play.
Right. That's a brutal position, that catching position. It's a brutal position.
What do you think is worse, playing hockey or catching?
Oh boy, they're different. I think they're both very physical. That's for sure. I mean, they're different. In hockey, you get checked and everything. You have all kinds of equipment on, and hockey requires a lot of endurance and a lot of checking and getting smashed into the boards and all kinds of things like that. And catching in baseball, it can be very difficult. You have to be the field general, and you have to catch high velocity pitches and squatting up and down. I think maybe hockey, because, well, even hockey, they get a break. And I was saying in catching, they get a break too when they come up to bat.
And you know what? They don't play as many games as ball players do.
Right, exactly.
Hockey games are spaced out as well over days.
Right.
You know, so they have time to heal and rest for a day or two and play the next game type of thing. Catchers don't. They have to play the next day and every day, you know, sometimes.
Exactly.
And I think they only get like 2 days off.
Catchers. That's why teams definitely need two catchers, because they have to try to get a day off. You know, a starting catcher, you know, if they start 120 of the 162 games, that's quite a lot, you know, because that is just a very, very grueling position to play.
I think it's an unwritten rule now, right? That your starting catcher doesn't. If your starting catcher plays the night game, he doesn't play the day game the next day. It's the backup. Is that an unwritten rule?
It almost seems to be. I believe it is. Usually, if they have a day game the next day, they'll use a different catcher, but the starting catcher will be available for pinch hitting duties or that kind of thing. But yeah, they usually give a catcher a day off on the day after a night. They definitely do. It is a very grueling position. Or also when they're playing double headers, they'll play just one of the double headers.
Yes, yeah, that's true. And sometimes they play both games too. I seen catchers play. I seen Jorge Posada do it, play both games. Yeah. You know.
Oh, I forgot to mention this as well. Jorge Posada has been hired by Derek Jeter to be a special advisor for the Florida Marlins.
Wow, that's awesome.
So Posada has been hired to join Derek Jeter in Miami.
Wow, man. So, man, that's awesome, man. And you know what? That's going to be the ending of this radio show for now until we come back to the next one. But it's been a great radio show, man. Knowing that Posada's going to be over there hanging out with Jeter, even though they were best friends, you know?
Yes. Yes, they're very close.
But, yeah, just want to let everybody know is to please like and subscribe and let us know you care. Leave a comment, you know, and always share the first inning as well, you know, with the people, because we only talk about baseball, you know, and we talk about other things too, but we're talking about good stuff now, especially when spring training starting, you know. Exactly.
We'll have a lot going on with the Yankees.
Yeah, man. So, absolutely. So, the first inning is on television radio. And all you have to do is go to television.com and just press play. There's a radio, there's a little radio thing there, and it's playing a tune, and just hit play, and you'll hear the first inning radio show at 8 o'clock every night, Monday through Thursday at 8 o'clock, and Friday at 7:15, and that's where we'll be. So until then, we'll see everybody on the next one. So long, everybody.
Okay, take care.